Hey Bears fans, lock in with me. The ground under our backfield just shifted. Quiet but real. The kind of move that changes how safeties sit at 8 yards and how linebackers read our mesh. And I'm here to walk you through why this matters right now, what it does to our rotation behind DeAndre Swift, how it changes our short yardage math, and why this specific profile from the AFC North plugs into Chicago like it was built in the same workshop. I'll map the timing, the fit, the usage tree, the cost that actually makes sense, and the ripple effect on Caleb's life on 2nd and 7. And I'll do it with the kind of detail you expect here. No fluff, just football. Stay with me till the end because the name lands only after the logic, and when it lands, you'll feel how clean the picture gets. First, identity. Our offense breathes through rhythm and leverage, wide zone and duo as the base notes, a quick trigger on glance and drift when defenders overcommit, and a steady diet of manageable thirds so Ben Johnson can keep his sheet open. We've been chasing balance since week 1, and balance isn't a slogan, it's a countable thing. Even fronts widen, safeties hesitate, second level gets stuck for a half beat. That's why the next addition behind Swift can't be a highlight merchant who freelances. It has to be a runner who hits the crease exactly where it's designed, who converts muddy looks into clean fours, and who turns defensive hesitation into 9 yards before anyone breathes. That's what protects the quarterback's windows. That's what makes play action hurt again, and that's what keeps us in command when the weather and the schedule will get mean. Now, look at the room. Swift gives us lateral stress and burst. Kyle Mananga brings the square-shouldered churn. Rashawn Johnson is the hammer when healthy. Travis Homer just came up to help on teams and emergency snaps. Good bones, but the attrition is real and the workloads have been choppy. When the coaching staff talks about down-to-down consistency, they're really saying, give me a first-read handoff that grades out in the black, even when the blocking isn't perfect. That's where this move starts to make sense, because the cape I'm thinking about shows a runner who doesn't waste steps, who gets vertical once he sees daylight, and who punishes pursuit angles when edges even slightly collapse. Let's zoom into traits. I want straight line pop that makes backside pursuit late. I want patience that doesn't turn into dancing. And I want receiving utility that forces nickel personnel to play honest. The player I'm bringing you hits those boxes with numbers that actually travel. 36 runs of 10-plus yards across 2023 and 2024 tell you the burst is real, and 101 career catches across 4 seasons tell you he won't disappear when we build out our empty answers or our third down options. He's not a workhorse you load with 25 touches. He's the rotational accelerator that snaps a drive out of a lull and turns a game's middle into our time of possession. In Chicago, that matters because our best football shows up when Caleb is in rhythm, not forced into hero ball. Before we name him, I want to put this into our play menu so you can see it. Picture 1st and 10 from the -35 duo call with a backside sift. Center and guard dent the A-gap, Mike steps downhill, and our guy hits the crease 2 steps after the handoff, square, low, and violent. It's an 8-yard punch that feels like 3 but moves the sticks like 10. Next series, we stretch the front with outside zone. He presses the ghost tight end to widen the force, plants off his inside foot, and explodes upfield before the overhand can replace. Now it's 2nd and 2, and the call sheet is a candy store. On 3rd and 4, we pivot to a quick arrow out of a bunch. The linebacker hesitates to carry the over, the ball is out in under 2 seconds, and our runner eats 6 and a first down without a scratch. None of that requires reinventing who we are. It amplifies what we already want to be. Let's talk acquisition logic without overcomplicating it. The AFC North team in question has clearly pivoted to a youth core in the backfield with a rookie who just grabbed center stage, which opens a lane for a sensible exit for the veteran in that room. League people have already framed him as available at the right price, and the number that keeps showing up is a sensible day 3 range, especially if you structure it with basic escalators tied to snaps or team performance. That's not splashy, but splashy isn't the point. Predictable, bankable yards are the point. The price lane you tolerate is the one that protects April while giving you meaningful carries in November. Fit inside the Bears? clean. You use him as the changeup behind Swift with a real role on early downs when you want to lean on under-center rhythms, and as a back who won't tip your intentions on third down because he can step in on checkdowns, screens, and quick angle routes. He brings straight-line speed that punishes backside chase, he brings ball security habits that coaches trust, and he brings enough pass pro competence that you can keep your route concepts intact. Importantly, he doesn't require you to move the feature piece out of position or compromise Monengaji's growth. He complements both while giving Roshan time to ramp to full power. I'll make this practical with 3 sequences I expect Ben to call the minute this is live. Sequence 1. Under center, Y insert, backside sift. Hit downhill, then immediately tempo into a keeper look with the same initial picture to punish defenders who just got gashed. Sequence 2, pistol wide zone into a quick smoke RPO. If the nickel cheats inside to respect the run, Caleb flips the screen and lets Romo Dunze eat. If the nickel stays honest, we hand it and live in 2nd and 5. Sequence 3, condensed splits on the boundary with a fast motion to mess with eye discipline. Quick inside zone paired with a backside glance alert, our runner times the mesh and gets you the boring 4 that flips the hole down. These are stress plays for defenses because the runner I'm talking about has the tempo to make the first read right, the burst to punish hesitation, and the hands to punish cushion when we spread them out. There's also a locker room layer that matters. Chicago's building has been very intentional about adding players who carry themselves like pros, and this back checks that box. He doesn't need a spotlight, he needs a crease, a roll, and a headset that tells him the sequence before the defense figures it out. That's the kind of personality that fits behind a young star quarterback and a receiving room full of alphas. The culture cost is 0, the on-field benefit is obvious. So here's the reveal you've been waiting for, and it lands cleanly because the path is logical. I'm talking about Jerome Ford from the Cleveland Browns. Across the last 2 seasons, he logged those 36 explosive runs. He stacked over 1,400 rushing yards in his career with 12 scrimmage touchdowns, and he's built out a receiving resume that makes him more than a single tool piece. Cleveland's youth movement with Quinshon Judkins changes their calculus, and league reporting has already placed him among the realistic names for a move before the cutoff on November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the open door Chicago can choose to walk through. What does it change on Sundays here? It makes our play action bite again because linebackers have to honor downhill speed. It shortens third downs because first down handoffs aren't a coin flip. It takes heat off Caleb in obvious passing situations because you can keep the same personnel and shift into protection or outlet answers without sacrificing explosiveness. And it gives this staff a hot hand option when weather, surface, or opponent asks for a different body type than Swift's. Put simply, it raises our floor without lowering our ceiling. Let me bring you into the price tolerance I'd accept. I'm comfortable with a conditional day 3 pick. Think a 5 that can climb to a 4 on playtime or team success thresholds. I protect our future by making sure there's no hidden poison in the financials and that the compensation rewards Cleveland only if Ford has a real role for us. That structure is fair to both buildings and easy to sell in both rooms. If the number drifts past that, I keep my powder dry and roll with the backs we've got. But inside that lane, this is one of those grown-up moves playoff teams make while everyone else argues about flashier names. Now, I want your pulse before I land this plane. Are you in on adding Jerome Ford as a rotational accelerator behind Swift, knowing he brings verified burst, reliable receiving, and real early down value, or do you prefer to hold your assets and ride with the current committee into December? Drop your take below. I read everything, especially on days like this when the team's choices say as much about belief as they do about scheme. Here's my final read in one breath. If the price stays in that sensible day 3 window with basic escalators, Jerome Ford in Chicago is just good business. Clean fit, immediate utility, and a measurable bump to the offense's week-to-week stability without touching the core of what we're building. If the ask goes premium, we pass and sleep fine. Either way, you'll hear it here first and with clarity. Tap in with a like and subscribe to Bears News Fan Report so you don't miss a single beat as we push toward January with eyes up and feet on the gas.